Hey guys, so after the great reception of my Sony A7 review, I decided to make a follow-up, looking at its successor, the A7 Mark II. I will also try to compare both generations to see which one seems like a better deal. A redesigned body is all made from the magnesium alloy with a fine texture to it. Everything is really well put together and the materials are of the highest quality. Professionals were cameras target, so there is also a weather sealing. What I noticed immediately was the greater weight and the bigger size, which if you watch my other videos, you know I'm not a fan of. Because of that, Mark II slightly lost on its initial portability in my view. However, there are improvements in ergonomics, bigger, more comfortable grip and shutter button in a place where it finally belongs to be, in comparison with the previous A7. Increasing the size was not accidental. They had to put 5-axis sensor stabilization on board, somehow, somewhere. This may be a big deal for some of you that use lenses without optical stabilization or for low-light shooters, but anyone seriously considering this sensor stabilization to be a breakthrough in videography like me, well, you will probably end up disappointed. Just expect no more than a little help in stabilizing small movements. Nevertheless, video quality is below today's standards. Camera only offers 1080p up to 60 frames per second, and although depth of field, dynamic range and performance across the ISO range is pretty good, mediocre level of detail and lack of sharpness make it something I can't recommend to anyone interested in good video quality. In opposite to the image quality, which as with the previously tested A7 is definitely on the high level. Pictures come out balanced with good dynamic range, exposure control could be improved, it is not perfect, it sometimes misrepresents, producing too dark and little bit underexposed pictures. Color accuracy seems good, but there are not so many color variations and richness like in my favorite to this day, Nikon D810 that I've tested a couple of months ago. There is a good amount of details and level of sharpness. In the crop you will generally find great depth with texture of photographed objects, which I was missing, for example, in the photo quality of the Canon 5D Mark III. Low-light performance is like you would expect from the camera in this class, great. Operating speed in some circumstances is improved. Locking focus doesn't generate that weird lag no more, and Sony claims its autofocus is 30% faster in comparison with the previous generation. I haven't done side-by-side comparison, but I pretty much immediately felt an improvement in overall focus speed, especially in low light. The 3-inch LCD panel on the back unfortunately lacks full articulation, but thankfully it was slightly upgraded in resolution and probably other aspects. Indeed, it looks better to me. It could be a bit better, for example, in terms of visibility in a harsh sunlight, given camera's segment, but it's by far not the worst. Looking through the electronic viewfinder while recording the video, this is where mirrorless have an advantage over a DSLR. Other than that, as you may know, I prefer the optical viewfinders. Anyway, quality of its 2.4 million EVF is decent, but slightly below today's standards in my opinion. So in comparison with the standard A7, aside from the increased weight and size, Mark II is definitely a better camera, but the question is how much really? Don't get me wrong, improved autofocus, better screen and in-body image stabilization are all useful but rather small improvements. Most important, picture and video quality stays the same. In my opinion, choice comes down to the price difference and your needs. If you ask me, if you could find the A7 first generation, let's say for example $200 cheaper than the Mark II, I would definitely advise sticking with the standard A7. But that's just my opinion. If you are open for an alternative in form of a DSLR, I would suggest Nikon D800 or Nikon D610. That's all. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to write a comment and rate this video. See you later.